Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today, we're talking Lady C's book. That's right, we are on chapter 10, and I gotta tell you, this is my favorite chapter. I have loved this book, but this chapter is so juicy, and I'm here for it, and I can't wait to talk to you about it. Also, I can't wait to show you the pictures I have for you today. Just wait. There's some of my just pictures I find funny, and you'll understand why in about 3, 2, 1. You're welcome. You guys. The eyebrows, the hair. I mean, just always messy, right? Always. Okay. You guys, this book is so good. A lot of people like to know where I am. I am on page 354 if you're reading along with me. And so good. So we left off talking about how much I cannot with these two in that whole South Africa woe is me debacle. All right. Well, it gets even juicier. So Lady C is still in this chapter. The way she's doing this is very interesting. I'm thinking it's to protect herself. I'm not sure. Or maybe just to say, hey, I know there are people who are Meghan fans out there. So she'll present the side of what a Meghan fan would say versus what a detractor would say. And she does it in a really cool way. So I truly am enjoying this chapter so much. Plus, it's just super duper juicy. So again, last episode, I was talking about that ITV interview that just makes me so furious because it's disgusting how these two acted in South Africa. They wanted us to feel sorry for them, even though the point was to bring awareness to the suffering of the people in South Africa. They wanted to make it about them. Okay. So Lady C again is talking about her detractors. I would say just people with eyeballs could see that she, quote, we saw her as, quote, a spoiled brat who has never learned where the boundaries should lie, who has been raised to have boundless ambition, who displays boundless greed and boundless entitlement. I'm not saying boundless over and over. That is Lady C's word. And is so shameless about self-aggrandizement as to flagrantly, almost boastfully, denounce the ability of some of the poorest people on earth, whose struggle is elemental, to know what the true purpose of life is, which by her pronouncement was to thrive rather than just survive. So remember, that was her thing, she said, in South Africa. Just disgusting. Okay. So this is where things get so interesting. Lady C points out that there might have been more to Meghan's tremulous confession of the hardship she's faced than meets the eye. She had studied Diana Wales closely. Now, this was interesting because, of course, Meghan always says, I didn't know anything about his family, even though we know that's not the case, clearly. She never Googled him, you guys. Bullshit. Her stated ambition is not to emulate her, but to outstrip her. So, Lady C has it out for Diana. So I actually don't go super into that because I do feel like Lady C has a chip on her shoulder about Diana. I've had a lot of you say that in the comments, so I'm leaving that out. I'm not even going there because everybody can feel however they want about Diana. To me, it's not about Diana. It's about these two, Hank and Skank, Harold and Fraud. Okay, so she goes into, though, how Meghan had taken a page out of Diana's playbook, but that Meghan's doing the most. Meghan, the quote is, Meghan may have been laying the ground for her departure from the confines of the royal way of life by establishing grounds for the public sympathizing with her misery and therefore giving her their blessings to return to her homeland. So just as we knew, she's just setting this up so that way she can play victim. Woe is me. So she disliked the constraints, sacrifices, its drudgery, its discipline, and lack of financial reward. Remember, everybody has reported that she allegedly said that she should be getting paid for her royal duties. Never mind that she was getting paid for her royal duties in terms of, the Duchy of Cornwall account. But yeah, she's quick to forget all that. Okay, so Lady C goes on to say she had never seen talking about she being Meghan. Meghan had never seen any reason to get out of bed and give herself away for nothing, which is what the royal way wanted her to do. Just don't even. She just wanted, again, I mean, I'm saying she, but I'm saying Harry's just as bad. They wanted the perks, but none of the actual responsibilities. We've talked about it at length, but it's vomit inducing, truthfully. And I hate talking about vomit, but it is. Okay, so she felt like she could be paid, quote, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, maybe even $1 million or more to make appearances for the same length of time on the other side of the Atlantic. If she wanted to give her time or self away to charitable causes, she would do so, but it's on her terms for the ultimate enrichment. I'm saying for her own publicity. It just goes hand in hand with revamping that or bringing back the tag again, right? So she can post about herself. God, it's just so full of themselves. Both of them. The worst. Okay, here's where things get real interesting. It's like I knew it in the back of my brain, but I didn't really think about it like this. So I'm just going to tell you what Lady C is alleging or hypothetically. Interesting. Okay. So since Harry and Meghan I'm trying to think of how to say this. They're looking to expand their financial horizons. Okay. They set up a financial structure which allows them to acquire a marital pot that is their own, right? By separating from the royal family. So that means in the event of a divorce, each one of them will have access to the joint fortune that they will make. So until that development, this is the part I really didn't think about or know. I just assumed, you get a big fat divorce fee. I don't know. What do you call it? You get a big fat settlement. There you go. Well, until this development, meaning until they started their own venture and started their own pot, Meghan had no access to any of Harry's money because the British legal system fully protected his fortune. It says as much about Harry's love for and belief in Meghan that he would do something like that. So Lady C explains that in Britain, people with inherited wealth, being alert to the dangers of divorce settlements, have their money so tightly tied up that their, quote, adventuresses, I had not heard that, cannot gain access to it. I find that completely fascinating. It doesn't shock me that his money would be wrapped up tight, obviously. But I would think, I did hear that prenuptial agreements are not a thing in Britain. You guys can definitely let me know in the comments because I just don't know anything about this, so I can't even speculate. But I find it fascinating that they wouldn't have some sort of agreement going into it of what would happen. Even if you don't legally call it a prenuptial agreement, some sort of agreement, some sort of something that she would be looking out for herself. I would say in the kids, but I'm just going to say she'd be looking out for herself. And so I just can't imagine they wouldn't have some sort of agreement. But that aside, it's just an interesting thing to think about. Of course, she wanted to go back to America because things are different here. And, it depends on what state, but California, it's 50-50. So if they split there, that's that. And Lady C points out, I didn't think about this either, that, okay, so in the event of a divorce, hypothetically, again, in England, Harry's assets locked up tight. Well, moving here to America and where he cannot become a naturalized citizen because that would mean he gave up his, it's a whole thing. You'd be giving up your title. I didn't even think about that, but you do. You cannot become an American citizen without losing your title, your royal rank. He'd have to renounce that to become naturalized. Okay. But while he's in limbo, Lady C is explaining that he can't make money. I'm sure they have a way around it. I don't believe that they do anything on the up and up, but legally it's something to do with he can't work. Again, this is written in 2020. I'm sure things have changed, but for a little while he couldn't work. So the idea would be Meghan has the upper hand financially. Lady C goes on to explain that the Hague Convention, to which I guess the United States is a part of, meant that if they had divorced while living in Britain, she would be obligated to remain in the UK as long as she and Harry were living there at the time of separation. And the children would have to remain there as well. They'd be obliged to remain in the UK. But by moving here, again, she's not stuck, but he is. So it opens up money for her. It opens up, she's not stuck. And I say stuck, I would love to be stuck. I'm dying to live in the UK. So there's no stuck, but I'm saying according to her, she wouldn't be stuck there because obviously she didn't give a crap about it. I love it, but she didn't give a crap about it. So she wouldn't be, quote, stuck there. I'm working this out as I'm reading it. And again, I got to give Lady C all the credit because these are the details. It's like we know this, but to hear it spelled out like that, it's spooky. So Lady C says he must really love and trust Meghan implicitly, or he's truly desperate, as one of his cousins believe him to be. Again, I've said it before. That's what Lady C calls the people in their, either in royal circles or in their orbit. She calls them just the cousins. So that is fascinating. And I'm going to just throw out there, again, all alleged, but he talks about it openly, so I guess it's not alleged. I don't know. Could that be part of the reason for all the, choosing my YouTube words carefully, the substance use that he likes to wear as a badge of honor? But damn, it's so crazy that I didn't really think of specific details about this, but that is fascinating. So again, Harry can't become naturalized here because he would have to give up his title and royal rank, which I find, he should give that up anyway. He acted like he was willing to, but yeah, obviously they won't do that. But at the very most, he can only become an American resident. So again, Lady C points out, therefore, Meghan will be the only earner in the family for the foreseeable future. Again, obviously you can work at some point. I just don't know the exact rules of how that works, and I'm sure they have a way where he works, it gets paid to her, whatever. But then Lady C goes into the whole Delaware of it all, and we've discussed this at length as well, so I'm skipping over a little bit, and I've had people in the comments say, hey, I live in Delaware. It's great. Okay, cool. I'm not disparaging Delaware, but it's a place where you can do business and you don't have to be as open about it. It sounds like to me. I don't know. But it's just crazy. So she goes into how Meghan decided to have her business manager, it looks like his name is Andrew Meyer, reincorporate in Delaware. And they reincorporated what's called Frim Inc. It's a California-based company which ran the TIG and was shut down in 2017. Okay, so the reason that I'm bringing this up and the reason that it's significant is because interesting that she retained connections to her old companies. So, it might lead one to conclude that she leaves clues just laying around. And according to Lady C, quote, again, page 357, so the press will make the connection and write about her, in the process helping her fulfill her ambition to become one of the most famous women in the world. Bam! So just all of it. It's just, I don't even know why I'm surprised anymore, but it's just all so pre-planned and detailed. She is a scammer. I'm talking about she being Meghan. Just schemer, I guess is the word, but I don't think I was wrong with my first choice of word. They are both schemers. And I don't feel sorry for Harry. He made this bed. Enjoy it. I don't feel sorry for either of them. She's married to a dum-dum who eats crayons, Enjoy the hell of your own making. But, oh my God. It's just interesting. I don't know. It's just a layered... I'm just taking it all in. Sorry, I'm usually more articulate than this or eloquent, but I'm just taking it all in. I just find that so fascinating. It's funny. It's like I just figured she was so rushing to marry him so she could, have all the perks that come along with royal life, and then figured that there was some, every agreement ever in place for any situation that could come up. but probably not for if they move to America. I don't know. Maybe so, but fascinating stuff. And now they have Archie and Lilibet, so things get even more interesting. And oh, man. A hell of their own making. Enjoy that. Don't feel sorry for either of you. I think you're both terrible people. Anyway, guys, I'm leaving it here because that is a lot to digest. I find it so completely fascinating, and I can't leave it talking about the Tig and Frim Fram. That's such a stupid name, but I'm just thinking about, again, it just, all of it. We want privacy, but we're going to continue to use the same name for the blog or whatever it's called, the website, and just all of it. It's just, nothing is true. Nothing they say is true ever. So you can't trust a thing out of either one of them. It seems to be the opposite. Whatever they're saying is the opposite. Just crazy, you guys. Just crazy. I promise I will be more succinct tomorrow night. I just found this part of the book so interesting, and I really enjoyed it, and I love the points that Lady C brought up. I thought it was very well done. So anyway, guys, I just really appreciate all of you taking the time to comment, to watch, all of that. It really does mean the world to me. Thank you for all the love and support. If you want to further support the show, definitely check out Patreon. We just did Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop and her court case. We've been talking about that over there. What else? I got one coming out on Hilaria Baldwin, so check that out. And lots on Hank and Skank, Harold and Fraud, Harry and Meghan. So check that out. That's patreon.com/Real Housewives Recaps. We put out stuff every couple of days over there, so definitely check that out. I do want to give a huge thank you and shout out to my executive producers, which you can also become at patreon.com. So a huge thank you to Linda. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Paige and Teresa. Thank you, Mary and Amy. Thank you, Mr. K. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Shauna, Brenda. Thank you, Aaron and Frank. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you, Ann M. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Ann H. Thank you, Karen and Corey. Thank you, Kay King. Thank you, Glennis. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Dewey. Thank you, Patty. Thank you, Adair Becker. Thank you, Erica. Thank you to Amber. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Barb G. Thank you, Diana LOL. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you to Allison B. Thank you, Jean. Lori. Thank you, Pauline. Thank you, KT. Thank you, Jolene. Thank you, Stromboli. Thank you, Catherine and Carla. Thank you to Loie. Thank you, Lucy H. Thank you, Georgia. And thank you, Susie. I'm so glad you're all here and supporting the show. I really appreciate it, and I couldn't do it without you. And again, check out Patreon if you want to become an executive producer, and I'll give you thank you as well.